All right, what is going on, everybody? Hope you are doing fantastic. Guys, in this video, what I aim to do is show you really one solid way where you can actually get really just a higher ROI and ultimately more profit using this one simple system. Now, what I'm going to go into is just a basic example of a service area business because I know a lot of service area businesses, they use Google ads, they use social media, they use perhaps Thumbtack or Angie's List and Yelp, and that's cool and everything, but there isn't really a robust program on the marketplace where you're able to track leads, pay per lead, and ultimately have a pretty decent uh, honestly effective ROI for that until now. And this has been actually out for a couple years. And I want to show you guys honestly what this is all about. So I'm obviously talking about Google Local Service Ads. If you guys are not familiar with that is, Google Local Service Ads is a platform that I think was announced, like 2 or 3 years ago. It's fantastic. It's primarily for service-based businesses, plumbers, HVAC, that kind of people. At the end of the day, people doing an actual service. And what's great about Google Local Service Ads, guys, is the best thing in my opinion is it's a pay per lead PPL model. So pay per lead model meaning you're essentially paying per lead instead of paying per click, which is what regular Google ads are at the end of the day. So you have to think if you're a plumber, for instance, right, you do a plumbing service, right, and you're spending a lot of money on Google ads, regular Google ads, Google search ads, and you're getting a bunch of clicks, you're getting a bunch of impressions. That's kind of cool. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily have a strong ROI because all those clicks and all those impressions doesn't mean you're going to get any leads from it. You know what I mean? Now, there's obviously a higher likelihood, but you are going to a landing page with Google search ads, and then you're essentially going to a forum, filling that out, maybe calling them. How much more, because you're doing one extra step, how much more time consuming is that? Especially if you go on the website, you could essentially have an issue where, oh, the landing page isn't good, doesn't look good, doesn't have the same copy, doesn't have the same vibe and style like the ad I read. And honestly, it's one of those things where I think as time goes on, Google search ads, and at least in my opinion, is going to get kind of phased out from the Google local service ads, which I'll get to in a second. Now, the thing with Google local service ads, which is great, guys, is you can quite literally spend a goose egg, $0, and get no leads, which is really good. You can get a bunch of impressions, you can get a bunch of potential clicks, but you don't spend any money because people aren't actually taking action. The times where you spend the leads, or I'm sorry, you spend the money, that's where you are ultimately get a bigger ROI at the end of the day, right? Because you're spending money, cost per lead instead of a cost per click, right? So I want to show you guys like a real world example here. I'm going to actually go into my free Canva whiteboard right here. And I'm going to show you guys a real world example. Okay. So let's just make an example here, guys. We have a plumbing business, whatever name you want to put on it, it's totally fine. And let's just say for a plumbing company, let me do some quick research here. I'll go on ChatGPT. How much do I expect to spend on Google Ads as a plumbing business? Let's see what it has to say. So the average cost per click is around $10. Okay, so $10 average. So what we're working with here, guys, is a $10 CPC, cost per click, right? $10 CPC. Let's say we get 100 clicks, right? 100 clicks. Of that, let's just say we get, I don't know, 100 clicks, maybe 10 actual leads. And then of that, let's just say that we get, I don't know, conservatively 3 new clients, right? So $10 cost per click, we get 100 clicks, 10 leads conservatively, and we get 3 clients out of it. I think these are pretty decent numbers, very, very conservative numbers, just so I can make this math work. So obviously, if you guys can do math, you can see here that we've spent $1,000, right? We've spent literally $1,000 on this advertising budget, right? Now, let's just say, guys, roughly speaking, and let me just use ChatGPT again. What's an average cost per plumbing job in Philadelphia? Let's just say, right? Make an example out of it. So it's going to be roughly 345. Okay, so 345. So let's just do 350, right? So 350. And then obviously that is just doing basic math here. The total revenue that you're able to generate, right, is $1,050. Okay, $1,050. Now, the problem with this, as you guys can probably see, is okay, great, we have $1,000 in revenue, but we have to subtract the fact that we only got, I'm sorry, not only, the fact that we spent $1,000 in ads, meaning we only have a $50 profit, which is not good, right? Granted, we do have a return on ad spend for revenue, but the problem here, guys, is this is just pure gross revenue. This is not net revenue, simply meaning this amount is not taken into account processing fees, payroll to actually pay the contractor to go out, or maybe you're the person who's doing the work, but whatever it is, if you're a decent sized business, you're probably paying one of your team members to actually go out and do the job, right? So you have to think about it. This $50 profit, which again is really not that high to begin with, is actually at a loss simply because you have to take into consideration processing fees, the money you're paying your team to actually do the work, all these different things, right? Taxes, whatever it is, right? So you're actually taking a loss off this, right? Whereas if I go to Google local service ads, right? And let's just say I do the same math. So for Google local service ads, how much can I expect to pay for leads, to pay per lead for plumbing leads in Philly? Just keep it consistent. So roughly speaking, it's looking like around, it says 69 here. Let's just average it out to $70 per lead, right? So let's do the same number here, the same number. So we'll keep 10 leads. So 10 leads, right? Times 70, right? Let's say because it's LSA and the people are actually coming to us, let's just say that we were actually able to get 5 closed deals, right? And of that, 350 per, oh, 350 times 5, 1750, right? So we've made 1750. Sorry, this is a little bit of a mess. So 1750 in revenue, right? Now, you guys also have to factor in, we've spent about 700 in ads, right? 10 leads, $70, 700 in advertising. So 1750 minus 700. And now, guys, we're left with 1,050 in profit. Or if you want to think about it this way, we were actually able to get a 1.5x LSAs, right? There you go. So point being, guys, even though we have the $1,000 here, maybe we have to do taxes, payroll, maybe there, processing fees, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, we're still above margin. We still have profit here. Whereas with the Google search ads, again, you're spending $1,000 in advertising using the math, $10 cost per click, 100 clicks. You have 10 leads, maybe 3 of those close at $350 a pop. That's $1,050 in revenue. But you're spending so much in ads, guys, you only have a $50 profit here. You have to think with taxes and payroll and all these fees, you're operating honestly at a loss if you think about it. Whereas with the Google local service ads, using the same model, if you have 10 leads at $70, roughly that's what the plumbing is, 700, 5 closed leads. Let's say we're going to get a little bit more closes here at 350. Guys, now we're operating on a completely different ballgame. Almost $1,100 in profit. You're at a net profit here instead of a net loss. And you have a 1.5x ROAS, which honestly isn't that great, but you're at least breaking even on your money and you're actually getting more money back. So essentially what this means is you put $1 in, you get $1.5 back. I would take that bet 100 times out of 100 if it was guaranteed, right? Now, obviously, you get kind of in the weeds of, okay, how can we make this better? A lot of LSA, honestly, you're able to actually get in a lot more ROAS. Like, people are sometimes hitting like a 3 or a 4 or a 5x ROI, and then it gets just kind of crazy, right? So you literally are putting in $1 and getting $5 back. That's serious money. Once you start to actually scale it, if you're putting in $10,000, you get 50 grand back. I mean, that's now we're talking about some serious money here, guys, right? So I just wanted to break this down for you because I think in the grand scheme of things, Google search ads, I'm not slandering Google search ads. Google search ads still has their place. It's just there's too many variables, in my opinion, for a service-based business. There are the landing page. You have to make sure the landing page is converting. You have conversion tracking, which again is very important to do. It's just really annoying to do it. And with LSA, it's pretty much automatic, right? You don't really need to worry about that. With Google search ads, you need to target keywords. You need to target all these things, negative keywords, all these associations, broad match, exact match, all these different keywords, right? Where with LSA, you don't need to worry about that, right? With LSA, it tracks all the data for you. It comes up with the keywords for you. It makes sure the leads are good. And if they're not good, then you obviously get a credit back. So guys, in my mind, if you're an owner or an operator and you're looking to scale using one of these two platforms, I would pick LSA 9 times out of 10. The reason it's not 10 out of 10 is because you do get some, I'm not going to say, some as a negative, but you do get an ROI on the Google search ads. It's just, in my opinion, you are far getting more ROI on the LSA, in my opinion, right? So guys, if that makes sense to you and you got any value out of this video, I know we just did some quick math here showing kind of the process. Do yourself a favor, like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers here with Momentum. Really excited to get started. And guys, if you have any need for marketing help, do yourself a favor, call me directly at 215-607-6482, or do yourself a favor and email me at sean@needmomentum.com. I'll give yourself a free marketing audit as well as just talk through, hey, here's exactly what we can do to ultimately help your business. With that being said, guys, really appreciate the time. Happy Sunday. Enjoy it. And I will talk to you very soon. Thank you. Bye.